first can Labour regain control of our borders? 020, I'm catching Carolyn's eye here. 7862 2222 is the number you need. Shabana Mahmood has dispatched a team of border security officers to the Balkans. That must be the one standing beside her there. In a bid to crack down on immigration. Oh, no, that's Keir Starmer. The team will work with local police forces and help them use night vision goggles and drones to catch human traffickers. Mahmood says the Western Balkans area is a major transit route for illegal migration, and the idea of return hubs in the area has been floated too. Currently, Balkan countries are used by migrants on their way to the UK a lot of times. Last year, nearly 22,000 people were smuggled along routes through the Western Balkans. The Home Secretary has admitted that Britain has lost control of its borders, and that is ending trust in politicians, she says. So, is this going to work?
Well, it's got to work, isn't it? I mean, I think Shabana is determined to make it work. And I think what we first have to acknowledge that this is a problem that's been growing over a number of years. And, I mean, we know that the Rwanda scheme, I think, cost something like 700 million, and they managed to deport 4 volunteers.
Well, because you stopped it,
hardly value for
well, because
money.
Labour stopped it, didn't they? I mean, if you'd let it go ahead, it might have worked.
No, I mean, it was stopped before we, I mean, it's just ridiculous. It was an absolutely total waste of money.
Was it?
Definitely.
I just was saying in the office, and maybe I'm wrong to say this, Karen, that I'm just feeling in my head a countdown to when Labour first uses the word Rwanda, and you're going to say in 2-3 years' time, we shouldn't have stopped it. We're going to do it.
Definitely not. I mean, no. Definitely not. I mean, also under the previous government, we weren't processing applications quick enough. We know that the boat crossings increased during better weather, so that was predictable, it was going to happen. But I think Shabana has acknowledged all that and put her hand up and said we've got to do a better job on this.
We just can't seem to stop it. That's it. We just can't.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether...
smuggling is an industry.
Yeah.
We have to... It's now... And the longer it's been allowed to flourish, the stronger that industry is. It like any other business.
Do you believe...
start off small and you've gone big, and this is what's happened.
Because Farage has said they will arrive on the beach, will turn them 180 degrees and send them back the other way. Does that work?
Well, we need to send more back. We have sent, and I've got the figures here, we've sent back 35,000 foreign criminals, failed asylum seekers. We need to change the asylum system so that when they do get over here, you can't bring your families over now unless you actually have a financial...
The rate of entry, are you concerned by it, or do you see
I'm hugely concerned about it, because I do believe that so many people are leaving this country and they're taking their wealth with them, and what we're left with, people coming into the country. We've got a housing crisis on this tiny island we live on anyhow, and we're expecting to accommodate these people. And this is one tool in the toolbox to reduce the number of refugees coming. And actually, let's say illegal immigrants versus political or other refugees, because I think as a nation,
illegal immigration,
we are brilliant at housing refugees as and when they need that help. But these illegal immigrants, we need to stop it on every front.
Right, but the trouble is you can't, if you have a boat full of people, you can't tell who's illegal.
Stop giving them
and who's
so much when they get here.
Yeah, but what if they come from Afghanistan?
They wouldn't be coming on a boat. I would have thought they would come through a camp.
Well, I don't know. I mean, you just can't say everyone on the boat shouldn't be here.
But
someone might say, wait, I'm fleeing a war.
Stage. I think we know this is going to be a decision that's going to come out in the next election. It is such an impassionate thing. And we need to look at every single element. And I think the government's being really wishy-washy about it.
Can the government do it? Can Labour do it?
I don't think they've got the strength. We've got Keir Starmer, who's an absolute humanitarian. He's a human rights lawyer.
But it's acknowledged.
We need to get tougher.
We do need to tweak the EHRC, because very often what prevents us from sending back people is the law. So we need to acknowledge that some EHRC does need to be tweaked to make sure we can send people back. I don't think the narrative coming out from some of the more right-wing parties, for example, there's a by-election in South Wales, and they're talking about immigration in a very small village. People there are like, oh, may have mixed heritage.
Is that a parliamentary by-election?
No, it's a Senate election.
Okay.
We had a tragic death. And people there who have maybe children or are married to people who are originated or have ancestors from another country, and they're like, what issue with immigration? There isn't an issue with immigration. It's become a moral panic, and it's not a real issue.
People were told they can't talk about it for years, and now they've suddenly started getting angry about it. And therefore...
Everybody knows someone that don't want to be deported.
Yeah.
But they want all people of...
All right, let's get calls on. James in Merseyside, hi.
Hi, Jeremy. Hi, panel.
Do you think the government could do this?
No, I don't. Well, I've got a few reasons why. I'll be quick. Well, you don't need a rocket scientist to work out that we need the Navy and the Army in controlling the borders. I class it as a national emergency. I get Ed Miliband should make use of these wind turbines and get them built halfway and put them on full power so that the dinghies can't get past them. You know,
I mean, that is quite an expensive way of stopping dinghies. But in all seriousness, we've been through this a number of times. Let's just think it through. The head of the Navy says, right, get in the sea and push them back. They push them back, and after 2 weeks, a boat goes down and 20 people die, including 6 kids. And then the head of the Navy has to resign. Right? That's how it goes. Now, you've got to be...
You pay the French on a performance basis at the end of the year. Right. Instead of paying the French what they're giving them millions. I'd say on performance, if you keep them out, we will pay you this amount. You know,
I don't know if they're up for it. I just don't think the French. It's in their interest to wave them all through.
They don't want them sticking around.
They don't want to keep them. Of course,
we have got the one in, one out policy deal, and I think we need more deals with more countries and to start refusing visa applications from countries who are not prepared to work with us.
But then you've got this real problem that all these visa applications, and they've been halted dramatically. I know a business desperate, semiconductors, graphene coated, amazing technology, best in the world. 14 visa applications.
But then there's an argument that they should be nurturing local talent and employing locally and providing training.
This is expertise. Yeah. This is nothing that you can train
in a way,
legally.
Shouldn't we be creating our own indigenous experts?
It's like saying Einstein can't come in and help with this business.
Well, it might take 10 years, I suppose. But also the other thing is that the easy thing to do is to stop those people getting visas. The difficult thing to do is to stop them arriving in boats.
They're two different cases.
OK, James, thank you. Walter in Falkirk, can the government stop this?
Well, I suppose they could if they really wanted to. The problem's not in the Balkans where they're going to send vast amount of people to. The problem is on the beaches in France. And like maybe your previous caller there, they used to guard the borders in Hong Kong years ago. I think you have to think about that now by liaising with France and putting, say, something like troops on that beach. We now have modern technology that can keep an eye on the people who are landing on these beaches in France.
But Walter, let's take us. The French might be able to do that, but they don't want to. OK, it's perfectly obvious. The French have got either better things to do, or they're trolling us because of Brexit, or whatever it is. It's not in their interest to stop people leaving because they want them to leave. So we would have to have our own military presence here. How, out of interest, could you gauge the French reaction to us basically invading their coast?
Yeah, I think you're going a wee bit extreme with some of the things that you put on this subject, Jeremy, and they're not. The point being this, if you didn't come to a solution like that, then just stop it altogether. Allow the masses to come en masse. Allow them to keep coming, because you don't seem to have a deterrent in any form whatsoever.
That's an interesting point. You could, Carolyn, just say, we obviously don't have a border. Just let everyone in.
Where are you going to put them? How are you going to process them?
Well, that's basically what we're doing now.
How do you determine who's a serial killer?
Well, then how do you stop? How do you stop people? I thought the sea was a good border.
So much comfort when they get here.
This is when it's becoming an industry. It's becoming an industry. They're more sophisticated than we can imagine.
But push them back, then. Is that not work?
But then if we deploy the military, how long before somebody comes along and says we're providing taxi services using the Royal Navy as taxi service for illegal immigrants? It happened with the RN lifeboat.
RNLI, of course.
We had that accusation. No matter what we do, there will be a section which will say that's wrong.
And also, if you see a child drowning, you have to save the child. There's no one disagrees.
We don't want ID cards. And yet, a couple of years ago, we need ID cards to stop people from coming.
Well, they're coming here because we look after them so well. Stop looking after them so well.
Yeah, well, the hotel thing may not help.
I don't think we do look after them that well, if I'm perfectly honest. I mean, my dealings with those people who are actually here and are on support, it's a pittance. They don't get huge amounts of money.
I think, to be honest, if you're in Britain and you have the cover of the NHS, which is a free operation, even if you have a neurological disorder, that is worth £1 million, literally £1 million. So, in a sense, once you arrive here, you've got £1 million of health cover. That's quite a big thing.
But they're not all going to come here and use the NHS.
No, because they're young, of course not.
They're not all going
of
to
course
come
not.
here and use our
But it is
schools.
quite an amazing thing to think about. After the break, we're taking more of your calls on this. Are we missing a big idea here? Can Labour do it? They're trying their best, there's no doubt. 0207 862 2222. See you shortly. So, Carolyn and Joanna here. You're feeling Labour can't do it, I'm sensing. They can't stop.
No, I don't think they can. I think by and large, they're very kind people. And I think
not as kind as we
this
used
is
to
a
be.
policy that needs teeth. I think it really does.
You did say you'd smash the gangs.
We would smash the gangs, and we are wanting to smash the gangs. But this is like breaking up an industry.
Yeah.
So it's not going to happen overnight.
I know. I thought when you did the election
repairing
campaign.
damage, Jeremy. We're still trying to, from the Tory government, we've still got that mess to clear up, and then we're going to move. But we are doing it. We are actually putting in.
Joanna's not convinced by that.
No, but I think you need to treat it like the sort of Colombian drug cartels. And, think how, the American army is in key and specific places there to stop the trafficking
Well, Trump has
happening.
this is not a useful analogy, perhaps, but Trump has started actually blowing up boats off the coast of Venezuela. Have you seen this?
I think that's called murder.
Because he said it's the narco-terrorists.
Does it?
He said if you're on a boat near Venezuela, you are carrying drugs, and they've started firing missiles at them. Yeah.
Well,
so now I'm reporting
I don't think
story.
we should be doing that.
No, I'm not. I wasn't suggesting that, but we've got to. Whatever we're doing now isn't working.
No.
Michael, and by the way, some cases going through courts at the moment involving violence in and around these hotel settings, which are quite blood-curdling. Michael in Manchester, hello.
Morning.
What do you think? Can Labour do this?
I think any government can do it, but they've just not got the will to do it.
So you don't think any government, or you think any government can do it?
They all can do it.
Okay, what do they need to do, Michael? Help. Tell Carolyn here, because she's very good friends with Keir Starmer.
Put the military out.
Military. Right, well, let's come back to our thing then. The military see a dinghy in the middle of the channel with 25 people on from goodness knows where. What do?
Back.
Push them back to France. Yeah?
But, this wouldn't have happened 20 years ago, 30 years ago.
Well, they were coming on the back of trucks then, in fairness. There was a different thing going on. And they've stopped doing that because they've got metal detectors.
Had to catch on the back of a truck. You can actually see them coming across.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Well, OK, I've pushed them back. We're back, we've pushed them back. Can we do that?
Oh, it's impractical, isn't it?
Well, but I'm just thinking, Michael, seriously here. You've got a Navy vessel and you're pushing a dinghy. And let's hope they'll obviously make sure that none of them die. And then you get within 10 miles of the French coast. And you can't, by the way, just simply invade those waters. They're French waters. So you say to the French, can we have clearance to push this dinghy back onto your beach? And they probably don't say no. They say, can you give us 48 hours?
Yeah.
So you've now got a battleship tied up with one dinghy, and meanwhile 3 go past it.
Yeah.
How does it work, Michael, your scheme?
That's what I'm saying. They're weak, the government. They're letting the French get away with it. They need to be tougher. And that's the problem with these governments at the moment in this country. Just weak.
All right, thank you. Well, I just don't know practically if it works. That's all. I'm just trying to, see whether we can get a model that works here. Carla in Gloucestershire, hello.
Hello, Jeremy and everybody. Well, can I just mention, and nobody's going to like this, but Brexit. When we were part of the EU, we didn't have this, and people blaming France. This just is it's all wrong. The other thing is the Rwanda scheme was very inhumane. As far I think
was it inhumane? Because the idea, Carla, the idea of the Rwanda scheme was to stop people coming. And it seems to have worked initially because Ireland started complaining that it got loads of people flooding across the border from Northern Ireland who didn't want to end up in Rwanda.
Well, yeah, but it's not a safe country, Jeremy. That's the point. It's inhumane to send
I don't know. I've been there. It seemed pretty safe to me, I must say. Anyone got... I thought...
It was only single men, wasn't it? It wasn't, you weren't sending families. The proposition wasn't to send families. It was to send single, disillusioned young men.
But they sent 4.
All right, Carla, let's say Rwanda was unsafe. Could you think of a better country?
Well, I'd like to see Brexit completely ditched so that we're back with the EU and we're in a better state. The country's in a complete turmoil. I'm so sorry to bring it up.
No, it's fine. I don't know whether... I mean, we had this a bit during Brexit because we had some terrible cases of usually trucks, people clinging onto them and stuff. But, yeah, the EU's in turmoil as well. Look at France. France is is a basket case now. They've got a government every 5 minutes there now. But I know that's not... I was talking to a friend this week, Carl, and I said, will we ever go back into the EU? And my friend said, not in our lifetimes.
I think the EU is going to dissolve before anything gets rectified.
Why doesn't Labour say, we'll take us back into the EU?
Because there was a referendum and the people of the United Kingdom decided to vote out. Yes. And you cannot... I mean, that's democracy.
10 years ago, yeah.
Better relationship so we can trade easier. But I can't see us going back into the EU.
No.
I can't see the EU lasting in 10 years' time. Yeah. I don't think it'll be there.
I think the EU might not have us back as well. So, Carla, I'm sorry to disappoint you there. That's not going to work, that one. Go back into the EU and try and charm France.
Well, everybody blames France for everything. There's this animosity towards France. And before regulations were changed, the police weren't allowed to go into the water. Now that's been changed. Yep. But, I'm so fed up with everybody blaming everybody. It's this blame culture. It's all wrong.
I understand, Carla. I know it feels negative. Someone at some point has got to have an idea. It's got to have something that they can do. John in Derbyshire. Hello, John.
Hello.
So our question is this: can Labour regain control of our borders? It's the Home Secretary herself who says we've lost control.
No, they can't, because none of them can. They should do like they do in Australia. As soon as they get into the country, if they haven't got a visa, they should they're on the next plane back.
Well, they can send them to Papua New Guinea. They've got a camp, I think, on Papua New Guinea, which is controversial. That was Papua New Guinea for Australia was the equivalent of Rwanda for us. But Rwanda got cancelled by the lawyers, John.
Yeah, well, like I say, they should send them straight back.
But to where, John?
Carolyn is asking where to, John.
Where are you going to send them back to, John?
Because they get rid of all their papers, don't they?
Well, there's people that can tell their accents. And as regards the panellist that has just said, we're still backlogged and sorting out from the Tories. Labour has been in long enough. Stop saying it's the Tories this, the Tories that. They've been in long enough. Try and sort it. Get it done.
But I still like to know, John, where do you want us to send them back to?
The country they're from.
So, John, if somebody... Karen's point is, if they've thrown... Let's say they're from Afghanistan and they've thrown their passports into the sea, how do you find out they're from Afghanistan?
Their accent, the language they speak.
Well, you should be able to find out.
Yeah, but you send them back to Afghanistan, and when they get to Afghanistan, they send them back on a plane. So we play yo-yo with them because they're not going to accept them. So there's got to be a process. If you're deporting someone, there's a process. That means that when they get off the other end, it's that person's problem.
I think America have worked this out. They've cracked it. You turn up there without the right documentation, you're straight back to where
you are. They put the whole of their army on the coast, on the border with Mexico, and it turns out that it's easier to defend a land border than a sea border. That's the weird thing about all this. Though. Yeah, which is not... The whole of my life, I thought, because we're an island, we're actually well defended. It's not the case. Because you have to rescue people if they're in the sea.
You can't trust an accent.
No, John, I don't think we can trust an accent.
So well, like I say, none of them can sort it out. They're all this bad.
OK, all right. We're getting a bit miserable here, aren't we? Ian in Middlesbrough, can you cheer us up? Is there some solution here that we've missed?
Not really. Sorry, mate.
What about just saying this country's a bit rubbish? Because people seem to come here thinking the streets are paved with gold. And
they're not. They're paved with potholes.
Well, potholes. It rains all the time. Benefits aren't everything they're supposed to be. I don't know. Ian, what's the solution?
Well, you've just said there comes it. The people are coming and think it's a pot of gold.
Yeah.
Take away the hotels. Stop giving them accommodation as soon as they land.
They live on the streets.
Thing is,
Well,
no
maybe.
one's ever mentioned. They mention and go on sending the forces in, right? As soon as one of the squaddies or the Navy lads does something, I'm ex-army, so I know, right? We see it on the news all the time. 10 years down the line, somebody is going after them and mistreating somebody.
Well, that's my point about if you sink a dinghy, and everyone always says that, you know, you're going to be prosecuted for it, and you can't do that. So, thanks, Ian. God, that's a bit dispiriting. There is, well, it gets you off the hook, though, doesn't it?
Well, no.
There's no one's got an answer. Okay, thank you for all your calls on this.